not in the city yet.
Well, that's in
Texas, I forget where.
yeah, but that was okay. Wait a minute. Yeah, that was in October.
Oh no, Texas Nightmare was this weekend. Excuse me, I'm going to do the introductions. Welcome to Epic Sketch Time. My name's Mark Monlux. I'm the host. Epic Sketch Time has been going strong now for 6 or 7 years. I've lost track. We meet weekly. Right now we're meeting Tuesdays at 4:30 Pacific time. The current format is that we each have our own projects that we talk about, and we share drawing tips when we have them for each other. Sometimes we'll ask each other, how would you draw a frog? And other times we talk about the freelancing tips to each other. We'll probably be covering a couple of those today, and keep each other updated on our other projects. I'm going to go by order of appearance. First, Roger, then Bill, then Virginia. If you could tell us your name, where you're located, and what you're going to be working on today.
Hi there, this is Roger from Spokane. I'm working on some animation and maybe some comic strips. That's about it, I think. Thanks.
Bill, you're up next.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a illustrator and cartoonist working in Seattle, Washington. And I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, which you can see at rhapsodies.wpmorse.com. And today I'll be doing some brainstorming for that.
And I'm Virginia Serna, and I'm just painting an owl, except it's not a real live owl. It's just imagination.
Thank you, everybody. So one of the things I learned about owls was that their ears point in 2 different directions.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm not the only one who knows this. Okay.
Pretty impressive the way it looks like.
Yeah,
I didn't know that until just a couple of years ago, and I was kind of going, no one tells you these things in school.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a nesting pair of bards in the park closest to me, which are a big draw of all the local bird watchers.
So one of the things I'm going to do is show you guys the results of last week's. I run a live drawing group called the Grand Drawing Room, which is held at the Grand Cinemas. They have an extra large room down in the basement, and they've been looking for a way to start using it in public. And I said, oh, well, how do you feel about having live drawing sessions there in the evening? It's so hard to get a place in the evening that people can just come into. And they had lots of tables and chairs and things that we could set up. And I approached a cosplay group on Facebook that was nearby, and I got a bunch of people just raising their hands, willing to do it for a free movie pass and tips. So let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and where is my share video button? Why isn't that popping up?
Okay.
Here we go. This is strange. See all these options on the right-hand side of all these new tools they have, like Mural and note taker, and yet the very common share button.
Is not available.
Well, I'm not looking. It should be at the palm of my screen. Bill, can you take a look and do you see that it says available to show to all participants?
Yeah, it appears to be working because when I pressed it, I got the usual stuff. So it should be working.
Let me see.
And considering you're the host, that wouldn't have been the
Oh,
issue.
okay, here it is. I found it. I just needed to widen my screen and more options popped up. These little things. So click on that, click on that. So during these live drawing sessions, we're given a chance to do, these were just some quick little doodles because they were nothing more than 1 minute poses.
Mhm.
And then quickly switched over from that to doing 3 and 5 minute poses. Now, I tend to be fairly tight when I draw stuff. I kind of forgive myself if the lines are wrong. I'm sort of like I visually see where the contour is and try to mimic the contour rather than trying to capture the shape of something. So let's go back. This is a 10-minute pose. And since I draw kind of cartoony, you can tell from this face that I'm not going for realism at all. And then this is more of a 15-minute pose. And I got done quickly enough that I copied and mimicked and traced over it to do another pose with a different type of brush just to see what type of effect I could get.
And were you doing this on your pad?
Yep, just on my pad. I'm trying to become faster on just doodling on my pad. So if we were to look at this one, I'll do this as a video. So this is my drawing process. And you'll notice I enlarged the legs from what they were. And then when I have a lot more time involved, this is the last piece, and we were given 20 minutes. And I tend to have a lot better time of drawing my contours. I'm trying to figure out what would work better for a background color, so I keep changing that around. And then have some fun with shading. So it was a fun drawing session. This is something I was working on last week, and I just turned that into a sticker. Sticker Mule is having a deal this week for glitter stickers. Now, what I did when I sent this one in to Sticker Mule, I gave them the instructions that this distance here from the top to the bottom, you know, where the antenna is from the top and where the feet are from the bottom, that they can make that the outline. And that they could not worry about making the edges all pointy like that on the edge, but just go ahead and round them off. And that they could fill in the spaces, basically do something like this. They're very good at listening to instructions. And then all of this inside space here would have like a silver glittery look to it. And I thought, okay, that's kind of psychedelic. That would work fine for this piece. And so 50 stickers for $20.
Mm,
Normally 80, so I figured, I'll take advantage of that deal.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's all. I would mention that to you. Sticker Mule sometimes has day deals, and sometimes they do weekly deals. And their weekly deals differ. They do things like tape, cordoning tape, like yellow caution tape, coasters, t-shirts, and stickers in a variety of different formats. I accidentally ordered a bunch of round stickers one time. I thought they were 2-inch round stickers, and they 3-inch round stickers, and they turned out that they were 1-inch round stickers, and they're too small for me to sell. And so I get this tiny little packet. I went, "What? These are too tiny." I went, "Oh man, gotta read the incentives a lot better." Anyway. That's all I have to report.
Yeah. Let's see, speaking of live drawing, I had a very successful weekend.
Oh, do tell. You were at Folklife Festival.
Yeah. And anyway, breaking in the new sketchbook and pretty much
Oh, let's see the front of the sketchbook.
Yeah,
How big is that, would you say? That looks 9 by 12.
Yeah, Aiden, just about. So anyway, I think I broke my record for a weekend where I had 35 of these.
Oh, wow. That's great, Bill. Please hold closer to the camera.
I mean, I think I went a bit faster because I was went with going deliberately a lot looser in gesture this year, as opposed to try and desperately do something tight where you're dependent on them being relatively still for some amount of time.
I'm still amazed that you can draw a guitar that quickly.
Well, it's not a very good guitar, so.
A dulcimer. There's a nice static instrument to draw.
Indeed.
And I'm guessing the weather cooperated just fine. It was pretty
Yeah.
nice weather.
Yeah, I mean, this, other than the threat of thunderstorms one afternoon, it was pretty much just overcast. And this is actually my favorite, the drum circles, because essentially you have no choice but to improvise to the point where, in my opinion, you're as much as part of the dance as they are.
oops.
You may want to say something, Bill, so that your screen
Okay,
becomes the
something.
master screen.
Yeah, okay, this was a blessing of the boat for this. Okay, oh, and this was some of the fun stuff. There's two very eccentric brass bands. There's the Neon Brass Band, which I think is a renamed one of ones that has performed before. And then the Burnt Out brass band, who in their own words is the sluttiest brass band ever.
How long do you allow yourself when you're doing these figures? Do you time yourself, or you just go whatever feels comfortable for you?
Allow is a very relative term since these are moving targets. So I'm lucky if I have 5 to 10 minutes at all. So generally, since the closest thing to a pose you get is during one of their sets, call it 5 to 8 minutes tops. And let's see, getting down to the home stretch. Oh, this is always one of my favorite ones. It's this local children's music band who called the Naudettes. And this was a cello sextet called Cello X, and a capoeira demonstration. With some buskers. Oh, and this one was pretty cool. This was a native dance competition.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And that was it.
That's a lot of fun images, Bill.
Thank you. And now it's all a matter of catching up for the rest of the week, since because of that day off and
Well, you had a little bit of a buffer. I mean, you
a little bit. The issue is not so much the buffer that I have; it's the buffer that I'm trying to finish before next Monday, before next Tuesday.
now you're getting on a plane next Tuesday.
Well, technically, I'm getting on a plane Monday night, so.
I'm kind of curious how everyone spent their Memorial Day.
I just showed you how I spent my Memorial Day.
We cleaned up the yard.
That's pretty much how I spent mine too.
So, I guess when you said that the Texas Frightmare was last week, I remember that it was in October, around Halloween and that.
I think
But
you're
then
thinking of
It
Crypto-
was in the park, in Houston, when Astro World there.
Well, there's a bunch of different ones. Horror. Texas has a lot of horror themed conventions, but Texas Frightmare was May 26th to the 28th. I also know that they've got Monster Palooza and Son of Monster Palooza. And let's see, I think, but yeah, there's definitely other horror conventions that pop up more towards and around October. I wish we had more of them here. We used to have two. We used to have ZombieCon and Crypticon. Now we just have Crypticon. Just one horror convention. I'm kind of going, oh man. I would really love to have. Now I know that there's a Lovecraftian convention. I can't seem to remember the name of it, of this Lovecraft festival. A friend of mine, Nick Gucker. Yeah. He often does it. I think it's smaller than Crypticon, but I'll have to check with him. And I'm thinking, what I really should do is do something that has got a lot of tentacles. I had a poster one time that was of a giant squid attacking a sailing ship, and I did it in a cartoony style. And I happened not to pay for the printing. Someone else paid for the printing. I did the work.
I was going to say, you finally used them up.
Oh yeah, I've been out of them for like 5 years now.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes.
But they printed off like 4,000 of these prints and ended up not selling them. And I said, well, what are you doing? And they're saying, I'm giving them away free with purchase. I said, well, that doesn't do me anything. The deal was that I get some of the profit. It says, well, you can take them and sell them. I said, I will. Instead of, I probably could have sold them for $5, but I decided, you know what? I'm just going to sell them for $1. And I sold a lot of prints. So I definitely made about $3,000 off. It took me a while. No, I'm getting a bunch of different texts coming in. Recently learned about this really old, stupid horror movie from the mid 70s or early 80s called The Being. there's
Like-
a,
BEING, right?
yes.
Okay.
And I'm kind of taking a look at this drawing and figuring out how to draw it properly. It looks just goofy as all get out. And not that you see much of it during the movie. So I think I kind of captured it a little bit. I'll do a quick screen share. So this is what it looks like, kind of, sort of. It's got like a lopsided cyclopsian eye
Oh, for
And lots of teeth.
and lots of teeth, and supposedly a large brain capacity. I think this thing, rather than being what looks like a pair of dog's ears, it's actually supposed to be a brain coming down its.
I was imagining
back.
it as Rasta Cat.
But and it's all wet and slimy looking. So I'll probably end up making this thing look a lot better. And I'm trying to figure out how can I make this stuff look brainish. And I was kind of curious, what are the odds of anyone in this room actually seeing this particular film? I also discovered that there's this distribution company that knows about people like me who enjoy their really old, horrible movies. And they're called Vinegar Syndrome. And they make a point of
Vinegar
finding
Syndrome.
these and re-releasing them.
Ah,
Forgotten VHS stuff that went straight to video, or even the really B-grade stuff that went to the drive-ins and never really made it onto the mainstream. I think it's kind of nice that somebody's looking out for us.
we used to go see those movies. Went straight to drive-in.
So you might have seen things like Octoman, and
Yes, and
I may have heard of that one.
well, you know about Octoman, Bill, because I was drawing it one time and I probably mentioned it.
the one that stuck out for me was The People. You might know, I don't even know the movie, know the name of the movie anymore, but these people that were stuck in the subway for years, and they were like, had their own colony and things like.
Chud?
It
What?
sounds a lot like Chud.
Maybe.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
I don't know.
Did one of the
I just-
things kind of grow its head like out on a long neck, or,
No, they were real people.
oh, real people that
Uh-huh.
lived underneath?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
that could be something else entirely.
But
Ah.
they were disappearing people because they needed more people.
Okay. Now I have a cause. I need to do some research.
It's interesting. There's this great urban fantasy series called Rivers of London, and one of the third book uh, uh, featured a lost tribe in the London sewers.
Oh. Hmm.
Well, lost since the 1800s anyway.
Well, maybe that was it, because I don't remember,
But that
This is-
was a book, right, Bill?
Yes.
Not a
that was
movie?
a book,
Yeah.
but it could have been I don't know.
Yeah.
There is talk about the series being adapted. Simon Pegg's involved. I hope so, if that's the case, because they're really, they're one of my favorite urban fantasy series. It's not quite as
Roger, I'm looking at your character with the tooth and the eyes, and I'm kind of wondering. I'm hoping that that's one of the projects you're working on and not a chud.
It's 5 o'clock.
So I'm now selecting my new script pen tip. I need to watch the trailer to this movie. This creature's got one eye and I can't remember what color its pupil is. Oh, we got somebody trying to get in. How long have they been trying to get in, I wonder? I'm going to stop my share. Hello, Jack, if you would be so kind as to show us your face.
I'd like to, but I'm in bed.
Oh, okay. Can you guarantee that you're over 18?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then.
What a compliment.
No worries.
Okay,
So-
you're so kind. Thank you for your patience. Next time, I promise to turn it on and be in a more civilized place. But this is a nice place to draw.
So, Jack, what are you drawing today?
I was looking up in the pine trees, and so I made some sketches, and I was just sort of completely mesmerized because there's like these tiny little husks at the tips, and some of them had started to fly off. Like the whole world is like all the keys are flying. And so these little husks are flying off the tips, and some of them are still pointy. They're very light green color in the jade tree. And then others have started to open up. They're very translucent. So it's just like this pale green halo. So I wrote poetry about it, and I'm just like fine tuning some drawings. It's
I think that sounds a lot more mainstream than this one-eyed monster I'm drawing from the 70s. So-
I wondered what that was. I thought, oh dear, where am I?
I like to draw old forgotten horror movie monsters, and this is something called The Being. Let me, what year did The Being come out? I gotta take a look.
You need to watch when I want to giggle, sometimes I watch Graham Norton. You need to watch an episode where he reenacts the alien and they set it up on a table, and they're saying the actress was saying how, you know, this was before they had all the technical things, and they had to set up all these mechanical devices, and the director had not told the actors what to expect.
Right, I know
So
all about this story.
Yeah, did you see it actually?
Yes,
It's
I
really
did.
cute. Oh, you did, eh? And that it was pretty impressive, I thought, even though it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, all the actors and actresses, when that alien, when it did the pop, they were not, one of the actresses jumps up, falls back, and actually stumbles and falls back over something while screaming. It was such a terrific, they couldn't have gotten that otherwise.
Yeah, it was. I was just impressed by that whole idea of making things yourself. I thought it was really cool.
The Being came out in 1983, and Ruth Buzzy was one of the characters, was one of the actresses in this film.
Oh, my goodness.
So was Martin Landau.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Martin Landau. I think Martin Landau played the bad guy. And he actually had a budget of 4.5 million.
That's impressive.
Mhm.
It's about this. It says the focus is on a detective who's trying to solve a string of grisly murders and disappearances on a college campus. Oh, that just sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
No.
Always a college campus. What's the name?
And I think Walter Malthouse, that's sort of like an industrial bigwig, saying that this toxic waste we're dumping in the river is not causing any problems.
Mhm.
Do like this new Procreate brush tip I'm using.
Which one was this again?
It's where you go into calligraphy and you click on the script. And what you do is you go into your stabilization and you turn your stabilization to like 55%, and then you lower everything else down to nothing. And if you draw your line quickly and smoothly, it's just wonderful and smooth and tight. It kind of, you know how sometimes your hand will shake when you're trying to do a curve and it doesn't look quite right, not quite smooth enough?
Mhm.
Well, if you slow down too much, you'll still get that wobble, but if you just do a quick stroke like you would with a brush, it gives a nice, it does a really nice clean edge to it. So I'll go back to sharing and show you what I mean. So I got this big lump of a head. And I'm kind of happy with how wavery that line is, but if I wanted it to be thinner, you know, I'd reduce it down and go at it in chunks. I almost went too slow there. Get the right amount of speed. Okay, that looks really good. That's the type of look I wanted. And I like how you can do get some thin, thick on it.
Oh. Whatever
Oh.
you just did there gave that eye a really nice bit of intensity.
Now I gotta work on all these teeth. That's gonna take a while. But I figure any movie that's got a bunch of teeth in a mouth can't be that bad. When you're dealing with these like ridiculously long teeth, completely not functional. Except from a marketing point of view. I still see creepy monsters being made with rows of sharp teeth that only are functional to scare people on screen.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like I can't imagine this thing trying to actually eat anything. quickly show some other monsters I have along the same lines. Okay, these look like perfectly functional teeth. Yeah. Okay. This is from a movie called Devilfish. And let's see. Where is one with some, oh, here's one. Long teeth all over the face, even teeth on the tongue, which I thought, okay, they got that design straight off of a goose, because I don't know if you ever looked inside a goose's mouth, but it's a nightmare. Here's another set of, this looks almost like they would work. Let's see. More long teeth. That's from a movie called Monster in the Closet. Anyway. So those are some of the things I'm drawing.
Hmm.
So Bill, will you be here next week then?
Probably, I'm not sure, but probably not.
Yeah, I know you tried to come in last year when you went home, and that was problematic.
Yeah. Essentially 4 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, probably in the middle of supper. Which is probably why we don't get too many folks from the East Coast anymore. I know it was working for some of them for a while. How goes your owl, Virginia?
Well, I'm trying to do some Zentangle because that's what I wanted to decorate him with, but I can't. Oh, but you see him so far.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Nice job.
I should spotlight it. Yeah, I'm trying to do some. I don't want. Maybe this one.
So every year on Memorial Day, I try to watch at least one war film.
Mhm.
And I picked one this year that I hadn't seen in a long time. It's kind of trying to remember, why can't I remember this film? And it's after I watched it, I went, you know, that's why I couldn't remember this film. It's just not that memorable, even though there were a bunch of, fairly decent B-list actors and actresses in it from the 40s and 50s.
So what was it?
7 were saved.
7 were saved.
I think I know the name, but no, I don't remember anything about it either.
It's set after the war,
Okay.
but
The war
like
being
within the last, like a year or two after the war. And it's about the air, sea, and rescue of the military. It follows this catching in a little bit on the memories of, or the curiosity of the public of how rescues were done at sea during the war, and seeing some of the military craft that was still in service. Certainly got a lot of shot of aircraft flying around, looking down over vast bits of ocean. Then you had the whole situation of the people in the lifeboat and how they got into that situation. And
oh,
so on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 6.
So it really wasn't a horror movie exactly?
No. As much as it was a war movie.
Okay,
Though there was a shark.
okay. But there's always a shark when you are in a lifeboat.
Yes, there has to be a shark. A friend of mine wanted me to watch the Meg 2 with him. And
they
I
made a
told,
sequel of that thing.
they made a sequel. And I told him, well, if you're going to watch the Meg 2, you got to watch the first Meg. He was not terribly enthusiastic about the first movie. Then he finds out that I'm not going to be around to watch a movie with him in any of the near future because of all the conventions I'll be doing. And like Bill, I have some travels I'm planning on doing to see family. And we lost Roger.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was,
It probably his usual tech issues. He was out. He left about between 5 and 10 minutes ago.
did he say something in the chat? I didn't look. Let's see. Nope, nothing in the chat.
Probably.
Maybe, yeah, maybe he just fell offline and didn't realize it. That's happened with him a number of times. Keep catching myself making faces while I'm drawing these. Just not getting the lips quite right on this. I think they're a little bit more knobbly. It's kind of hard to tell from the reference source. There's not a whole lot of reference sources for this monster on the internet.
Okay.
I'm actually feeling quite good about this. I'm actually drawing something as opposed to not getting anything else done today.
Mm. Yeah, I know the feeling. I had my productivity was completely out of whack today too.
That and my other project is doing a bunch of these Paisley designs, and Paisley, that's a lot of minutia detail.
Okay,
Well, believe it or not, folks,
so,
you managed to waste yet another hour of your time at Epic Sketch Time.
honestly. Okay, so I want to show you this. I guess it's spot like this or something. It doesn't, where is it?
Oh, as long as
There-
you keep talking, your screen will be,
Your screen, okay, this, because you're the main focus of me. Okay, this is my grandmother and her rocker. And I have yet to paint it. You see it?
yes, I can see it just fine. It looks great.
Really? Because I'm not certain.
Well, is she standing in front of the rocker or next to the rocker?
In front of the rocker.
Okay, so right now, what's happening is the front leg of the rocker is overlapping her skirt a little bit.
Okay,
So it may be that as much as you want to show that front part of the leg, what you should do is allow the skirt to go over that leg and overlap the chair a little bit. That will put her in the front of it. Right now, there's this weird visual happening where it looks like it's kind of mounted up on her side rather than behind her.
okay.
So
Yeah,
let me, I will share my screen with you really quickly. Okay, you can put yours down
Okay.
and let me share. Let me pull up a new image.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And that's probably the one thing that's throwing you off a little bit visually. So let's go in. And it's a standard trick to use lapping to create depth. So let me pull up a new window. And I'm going to switch over to a different pen for this explanation. So here is the rocker you have. Real roughly.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
And
sometimes it's better than mine.
and the drawing you have of your So you can see where it looks like it's just kind of super
Yeah.
glued to the side of her.
Yeah, and even if I put in, yeah, even if I put in the floor or yeah,
But if you were to go in and erase this, what you would do first is lightly draw where her skirt should be,
okay,
and then erase.
all right,
So that
Okay.
lapping immediately, you know, like a square in front of a circle, it then when you have a line in the background, that layering of 3 or more objects automatically gives it depth. Like if you had another object in front of her
okay,
like that, that would give some depth. Or like say you have windows in the background,
yeah,
so those windows are going to give depth. And so all in all, just that little bit of layering, overlapping, and people will visually realize that there's a rocker there because you're basically repeating a part that you've already established right here. So
okay,
you actually don't have to do it. You will see a lot of, in cartooning, people will know what hands look like. So a lot of cartoonists will draw hands behind a back like that.
like, because I had a picture that she was standing with her hands behind her back, and I said, oh no. So, but I this one, but I kind of went this one because I thought, well, she should show her hands a little.
Well, having their hands behind the back will actually, if you did it this way, it would actually create more depth because it's again, it's a layering thing.
Oh,
So here
Okay.
is, see how even like that.
okay.
Also,
yeah.
hands are really tough to draw.
Oh, I know. Why, that's why they're little bitty fingers.
So, but yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you so much. I
you're
will
welcome.
do
Now you'll
that.
notice that what I did was sometimes people will draw the feet going forward like this,
Mhm.
but you have a little bit of an angle happening there. So if you made that same angle, the same angle for the bottom of this foot, you can still have this foot pointing down. But if you did the angle at that one, it would make it look a little bit more natural.
Okay, so I changed the skirt, and I can change the ankle.
Right.
Ankle.
Now, don't do it to both feet. Don't do it like that.
Oh, I won't.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just,
Okay.
the one-
So we got a
Well-
little last minute drawing lesson in.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I will see you guys all next week.
Yes, see you
Okay.
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.